Do you want to know what is narcissism at its best right now? But also why you should be on the lookout for that trend, and more importantly, what you should do about it? Stay tuned. My name is Peggy van de Plassche. Welcome to the Microdose Diet podcast. We talk about all things corporate, mental health, and microdosing psilocybin. So the trend I want to talk to you about today is quite interesting. It's, in recent years, we've seen a lot of the celebrity actors turn self-help gurus. And you can see people like Matthew McConaughey, Will Smith, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Russell Brand, who were known to be great actors. And they have pivoted to sharing life advice, wisdom, and, personal insights. And, this transformation may seem initially intriguing, but there is an underlying aspect to that is, fascinating, but also a cause for great concern. So why is it scary to see so many actors turning into self-development gurus, and what does it mean for you? So let's discuss first why you should be cautious about celebrities' endorsements and their content. So the first thing, it's all about monetization, and whether it is about selling creams, makeup, cars, credit cards, clothes, or self-development programs, celebrities, not just actors, they understand very, very well that they are sitting on a gold mine. They navigate a landscape where the monetization of attention is not just a trend, but no, it is a fundamental aspect of their success. So social media platforms are really transformed the traditional dynamic of fame. It allows stars now to connect directly with their fan base and capitalize financially on their attention. So endorsement deals, sponsored contents, partnership, they all became very, very lucrative avenues, difficult to say, for celebrities, who are turning their massive followings into really, really substantial revenue streams. So the more attention a celebrity commands, the more valuable they become to brands who are seeking exposure in a very crowded digital space. Things are very, very crowded now. So what does it mean for you, but also for your children, for your spouse, for your employees? So the entertainment industry is built really on this art of illusion. So celebrities inhabit characters that are crafted by business people. So when they transition to the self-help realm, there are questions about their authenticity linked with these newfound personas. Are they truly living the principles they're preaching, or is it another performance? And I'll discuss in a minute about the 4 actors I mentioned and what is the massive discrepancies between who they are and what they're preaching right now. So how do you navigate this era of smoke and mirrors? So the first thing is question everything. And you might have heard me say that already in the past. I will repeat it often. Question everything. And, approach celebrity advice really with a critical eye. Question the motives behind the transformation, but also assess whether the guideline aligns with your own individual needs and value. So, the question I'm always asking myself is, okay, is it really true? And just stopping a minute to ask yourself that question, is it really true? Break the spell, like you're not passive absorbing information, you're now active and questioning what you're being told. So that question, is it really true, has to become the de facto question of anyone who's opening social media and media in general. It is one thing to blindly accept a recommendation regarding, a perfume, a watch, or even a car. It is another to listen to life advice. So the second thing you can do is really about seeking diverse perspectives. And instead of really relying solely on celebrity gurus, seek advice from a very diverse range of experts with varied backgrounds and varied qualifications. So especially when it comes to personal development, a well-rounded approach really involves considering multiple perspectives. And the third thing is really about getting off the autopilot. And, when we are on autopilot, we are extremely susceptible to others' influence. And this rarely goes in the direction of our best interests. So how do you get off autopilot? So be more present to what is going on around you. And how do you become more present to what's going on about you? So really, I mentioned that as well in the past, like a combo of microdosing psilocybin, tapping, guided meditation, journaling, really all of that, I would say, in other words, the microdose diet, all of that will really help you decondition, but also be more attuned to what is really going on around you. So here we'll go for the 4 people I mentioned, because I think it's funny to see the disconnect. So I'll start with the least offensive and I'll finish with the most offensive. And you're really, really going to see the disconnect between what you've been told, what maybe you've read, what you've heard, and what's happening in their lives. And are they really the people you want to take advice from? So the first person I want to go through is Matthew McConaughey. So the alt-right philosopher of Hollywood. So he has transitioned into a new role as a motivational speaker and as an author. So his book, Green Lights, maybe you read it, it serves both as a memoir, but also a guide to living life to its fullest. But you know what? This shift from Hollywood to offering life advice, I just raised questions about the authenticity of such a transformation, and for good reason. So the first one is what you would call a alt-right action man. So McConaughey has faced criticism because he has affiliation actually with the alt-right, and some are accusing him to express right-leaning views and also flirting with alt-right figures in interviews and podcasts. So it's important for you to know this angle when you listen to his life advice. The second thing is about, really one of the events, maybe you're familiar with the Art of Living life event and his association with self-development speakers. There is a lot of debates around, how authentic he is and why did he get involved in this space. And the last thing is really, really about money. And so McConaughey's really started a collaboration with Tony Robbins. I'm sure you're very familiar with Tony Robbins, who's a very prominent self-help figure, but also a very prominent person who's using MLM, multi-level marketing, which is, I think, an approach that has been under fire for many decades because it's a bit in the gray zone. So there are a lot of concerns that McConaughey is associated with MLM, again, for monetary reason. So that's one of the questions you need to ask yourself when you're listening to someone like him is, do you really want life advice from someone who's alt-right, opportunist, and who seem to be looking for more monetization avenue? That's a good question to ask yourself. The second person I want to go for is Will Smith. So he has ventured into the world of self-help and personal development through social media platform and through his own digital series called Will Smith's Bucket List. And Will Smith has been involved in more than one controversy throughout his career. So let's start with the most obvious one, the slap, the famous incident at the 2022 Oscars where he slapped Chris Rock after, thinking that there was some insults toward his wife. So that's the first challenge. The second challenge is about the allegations related to his cheating, is involvement with Scientology, but also assault. Then you have, I would say, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Like in his memoir is quite actually transparent about his experience with drug use, family violence, marital issue. And when it comes to relationship, I think we can, put him in the relationships train wreck person. He's been involved with a lot of public feuds and a lot of conflicts, including with some of his co-stars on set. So again, do you want to receive advice from someone who seems to have a lot of emotional challenge himself? Maybe you want advice on how to assault your boss an hour before receiving a promotion. I don't know, but I'm not sure he's the type of person you should turn to when you're looking for self-help advice. The third person is Arnold Schwarzenegger. So he went through a lot of career transition. So he went from bodybuilding to acting to politician, and now he's embracing the role of motivational speaker and self-help author. So he wrote a couple of books. The first one was Total Recall, My Unbelievably True Life Story. And more recently, he wrote a second book, which is Be Useful, 7 Tools for Life. And these books really delves into his journey and offer a lot of life lessons. And I find that quite ironic because he's been himself involved in a tremendous number of controversies. So the first one was obviously linked with his use of steroids during his bodybuilding career. The second is really about him playing dirty. So from the body building stage to the movie sets and the political arenas, his motto, Schwarzenegger's motto, has always been about winning at all costs. So he bullies his opponents, he lies, he libels, and he's never really shied away from doing whatever it takes to get what or whom he wanted. And that brings us to my last point. So he had many affairs while being married, but one of the affairs was with the female housekeeper. So the lady who was taking care of his house, who was his employee, he fathered a child with her. So can you imagine, obviously, the level of disrespect for his family and his wife? But also, do you really think that that lady could say no to Schwarzenegger? Really? As an employee? I mean, talk about abuse of power, and I'm not sure you can really call it an affair, but anyway. So is it someone, again, who should be around giving life advice and becoming a self-help guru? I understand he has a lot of followers and a large attention, but does it make sense? So, I mean, if you're looking for 7 tools to doing the dirty and playing dirty, I mean, you've got your man. And last but not least, that's, I would say, the one who's winning the Oscar today is Russell Brand. So Russell Brand was very known for his, I would say, edgy performances, irreverent humor, and he has turned into this spiritual and self-discovery guru. He has a very successful podcast, Under the Skin, that really explores profound topics and features conversation with thought leaders. So he really transformed from wild comedian to introspective philosopher. So that is really sparking a lot of that. So the first thing was is use and abuse of drugs, and it's not your mother's drugs, heroin, crack, meth. You're really talking heavy stuff. And then it's the accusation of emotional abuse and bullying. Again, is it someone who should give you life advice? Do you want to receive life advice from a narcissist? I'm not sure. And last but not least, 4 women have accused Brand of sexually assaulting them between 2006 and 2013. So obviously he denies the allegation, saying they've all been consensual. But it also has brought attention to past comments and behavior that were, I would say, inappropriate remarks about sexual assault. So you can kind of paint a picture of the person. So thankfully, these allegations have had a significant impact on his career. There is the cancellation of his latest book and the demonetization of his YouTube channel. So hopefully no one will ever have to wonder if they want to be uplifted, up-leveled, and inspired by brand. So I hope all of that would have give you a bit of insights on, okay, is it really what I want to do? Look for celebrities or actors, turn gurus as self-development lights in my life. So again, ask yourself the question, this is what they've done. Does it make any sense? So above and beyond the shiny Oscars and the money, these were not really great individuals. So really this trend of actors becoming self-development gurus raise, intriguing questions about authenticity, expertise, but also the commodification of wisdom, The second you have followers, well, why don't you milk it? It's not different than selling a car or selling a perfume, which I find is very disingenuous. So while really the entertainment industry has the power to inspire, if you really seek genuine personal development, you should approach this transformation with a discerning mindset and really navigating this new and shattering territory of celebrity self-help requires a balance between entertainment and real expertise, to really foster meaningful and sustainable growth. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that has been enlightened for you and that you will think twice before following life advice from people who maybe not who they say they are. So thank you so much for following and talk to you next week.